I get itchier staring at a stack of digital pianos online, scrolling past endless rows of specs, and you're thinking, do I really want to drop that much cash on something that might sit half-used in the corner? You've probably tried a couple of cheap keyboards that felt flimsy, or maybe you've even tried a full-size acoustic just to discover it's a nightmare to move and keep in tune. The fear of wasting money on the wrong instrument is real, especially when you're looking for something that feels like a piano, sounds decent, and won't turn your living room into a concert hall that your neighbors can hear through the walls. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'm going to walk through why the Kawai CX102 might actually be the sweet spot for a lot of home players, and where it could fall short if your needs are a little different. I've spent a few weeks comparing the CX102 to a handful of its direct competitors, reading through the specs, and digging into the handful of user comments that do exist. What follows is a no-fluff, real-world look at how this piano behaves once you plug it in, sit down, and start playing. First off, the most immediate thing you'll notice is the 88-key responsive hammer Lite graded action. Kawai's reputation for hammer-weighted actions is built on decades of acoustic piano manufacturing, and the Lite version tries to bring that feel into a more affordable digital package. In practice, the keys feel heavier in the low register and lighter up top, which mimics the natural grading of an acoustic. For a beginner who's just learning proper finger strength, that's a nice bridge. If you're a seasoned player used to a full-weight action, you might notice a subtle lack of resistance, especially when you're trying to execute very fast, repeated notes. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if you've trained on a high-end concert piano. The CX102 offers 17 built-in sounds, ranging from grand piano to electric piano and even a few organ-type patches. For most home players, the piano sound is the main attraction, and Kawai's samples are respectable, clear, warm, and fairly responsive to velocity. The other sounds are decent enough for a quick jam session or a casual practice, but they aren't the focus. If you're looking for a workhorse that doubles as a synth or a full-featured workstation, you'll quickly outgrow the CX102's palette. On the other hand, the limited set keeps the interface uncluttered, which many beginners appreciate. Polyphony is listed at 192 notes, and that number matters more than you might think. When you're layering strings, using the sustain pedal, or playing dense passages, you don't want notes to cut off abruptly. In real-world testing, the CX102 held up well during extended chords and sustain-heavy pieces, with no noticeable dropout even when I cranked the volume up to fill the room. This is a practical advantage over some budget keyboards that cap out at 64 or 128 notes and start dropping early notes in complex passages. Built-in speakers are a big selling point for a piano that's meant to sit on a tabletop or a small stand. The white cabinet looks sleek enough to blend into a modern living room, and the speakers deliver a surprisingly full sound for their size. You can comfortably play at a volume that fills a medium-sized room without distortion, which is great for apartment dwellers who don't want to lug a separate amp or external speakers. However, the speakers are not designed for concert-level output. If you regularly host small recitals or need a louder projection for a larger space, you'll likely want to plug the piano into external monitors or headphones. One feature that often gets overlooked is the dual split mode. This lets you assign two different sounds to the left and right halves of the keyboard, or even stack sounds for a richer texture. For a teacher demonstrating a piano's organ timbre, or for a hobbyist who wants to layer strings under a piano line, this adds a layer of flexibility without needing a separate device. The split points are easily adjustable via the menu, and the transition feels seamless while playing. Now, who should actually consider buying the CX102? If you're a beginner or intermediate player who wants a realistic key feel without breaking the bank, this piano hits most of the marks. It's also a solid choice for a home studio where space is at a premium. Its compact white cabinet fits nicely against a wall, and you can power it directly from a standard outlet. Music teachers who need a reliable instrument for student lessons will appreciate the graded action and the straightforward layout, while still having the option to demonstrate a few extra sounds. And for anyone who values a clean aesthetic and wants a piano that can sit in a living room without looking like a piece of industrial equipment, the white finish does the trick. Conversely, if you're a professional pianist who needs an authentic grand piano feel, the Lite action might feel